Jordan Love is one of the biggest mysteries heading into the upcoming NFL season, man. And we got to check in with how he's been performing so far in training camp for the Green Bay Packers. Now, he's been really up and down. He's had some great moments and he's also had some really bad moments. I want to start off with the good. He had a really good practice session during the Green Bay Packers family night. And during that session, he went 11 of 19, 3 touchdowns. He had no interceptions. He played mistake-free football that whole entire afternoon. He was really good with making great decisions with the ball. And the talent was obviously evident. There was a clip of him on Twitter getting outside the pocket, and he found Aaron Jones on a touchdown, which he threw that TD sidearm between 2 defenders. So obviously we know that Jordan Love has all the talent to make all kinds of throws. And what really has impressed me the most with Jordan Love is how good he's able to make throws from different angles. His arm strength is so good that it allows him to make all these different kinds of passes with his arm bent at different directions at different angles. He also has really good athleticism. He's a better athlete than what I initially thought. And from what I've been hearing about Jordan Love is that his teammates, they really like him. He has a good grasp of the locker room. He is emerging as a leader. And he's starting to kind of understand what it takes to be a starting quarterback in the league. Now, when you look at some of the bad from Jordan Love that's been reported about him coming out of training camp, his accuracy has had a lot of issues. He's missed a lot of receivers downfield on deep throws. He's overthrown a good amount of wide receivers. And plus, not just has he struggled for the majority of camp, but this whole entire offense has had their fair share of struggles. The offensive line has been shaky. The wide receiver play, we know there's talent at wide receiver, but there has been a good amount of the dropsies, and that has caused Jordan Love to get frustrated. And the defense has gotten the better of the Packers offense for the majority of training camp. And up to this point, when I'm thinking about Jordan Love, and if I'm the Green Bay Packers front office, I still don't really know what I have in this guy. I don't know if he still is the long-term answer at QB for the future, or if we end up whiffing on him, and if he is a potential bust. And at this point, we don't have any word on how Green Bay is feeling about Jordan Love so far throughout training camp, because there's been a lot of good, but there also has been a lot of bad. Preseason is just around the corner. How much of Jordan Love are we going to see in the preseason? We don't know, but we probably should expect to see at least him come out for the first couple of series. At least get a series or two, and we can see what he looks like from there. The team around Jordan Love, I think, is good enough for him to have a good season. And my comp for Jordan Love, I kind of think he's going to be another version of Jameis Winston, but way more athletic. And when I said that a couple of days ago, there were Packers fans who were asking me, where do you see Jameis Winston at? And you read the reports that have come out about Jordan Love out of training camp, and the fact that his decision-making still isn't that great. He has a tendency to force passes into double coverage. That's why I feel he has a lot of similarities to Jameis Winston. He can kind of get tunnel vision at times. He can kind of lock on to one receiver. What version of Jordan Love are we going to see this season? We really don't know. Are we going to see the Jordan Love that we saw a couple of years ago against the Kansas City Chiefs? Or are we going to get the one that we saw against the Philadelphia Eagles last year? Because so far throughout training camp, it seems like the Jordan Love that has been performing for the Packers has been the one that we saw when he didn't look all that great against Kansas City. There just has been a lot of inconsistency. And Matt LaFleur has come out and he said that He's still looking for a little bit more out of Jordan Love when it comes to getting the play-ins, looking at more control of the offense. So it seems like Jordan Love still has a lot of ways to go in terms of development. And for right now, there's still a big question mark on Jordan Love going into this season. And talking to Packers fans are pretty realistic with their expectations for Jordan Love this year. Nobody's expecting him to have an MVP season. You're not expecting the next coming of Aaron Rodgers. You're expecting Jordan Love to be solid. And when I was talking to my guy Juice, who is a Packers fan, and I asked him how he has felt about Jordan Love's performance in training camp up to this point, he has said that Jordan Love has been as expected. There's been some wild moments where he's made some really impressive throws that make your jaw drop, and he also has had some throws that made you scratch your head and ask, where were you going with that? Why would you throw that pass? Jordan Love in training camp, it's been a mixed bag. You don't know what you're going to get out of him on a week-to-week basis. And if you're a Packers fan, you know, yes, Jordan Love may have forced you to have tempered expectations for him because he's been behind Aaron Rodgers so long. You really haven't had a good sample size to see what he can do. But you don't want to go into this season expecting Jordan Love to just be serviceable. You kind of want Jordan Love to be great. You want him to at least play at a top 12 level. If he can give you that kind of quarterback play, this possibly is a playoff team. Now, when it comes to the rest of this division, the Bears, Justin Fields is a little bit of a question mark. Kirk Cousins, he's a solid quarterback, but if Jordan Love ends up playing up to his potential, he probably should be able to elevate over Kirk Cousins. And of course, Jared Goff, who probably is the best quarterback in this division right now, he's not seen in a elite light. He's more seen as a above average, very good quarterback when he's at his best. So for Jordan Love, I think there is a little bit of a chance that he could come in and maybe he surprises this season. When you have somebody who's had this kind of performance in training camp, it makes it really hard to get a good reading on how he's going to be this year because there's been so many ups and downs. Like, I don't think there's been a stretch in training camp where Jordan Love has been consistent for 3 days straight. We haven't seen 3 consistent days of practice out of Jordan Love when it comes to making good decisions, making the right reads, and limiting turnovers. Jordan Love still has a ways to go. And if I was to give you an overall synopsis of how Jordan Love has been in training camp, it's been TBD, to be decided. The jury is still out on if Jordan Love is the guy at quarterback for the Packers. And if you are somebody who's on the coaching staff for the Green Bay Packers, you would have hoped by now that Jordan Love would have showed you enough that gives you more confidence in him going into this season. But if you listen to anybody in the Packers front office, nobody really knows what to expect out of Jordan Love. And if you're a fan, there's nothing wrong with that. But from a front office standpoint, you don't really know what you're going to get out of your quarterback this year. I think that's a little problematic. If I talk to the general manager about Jordan Love, I want to hear, yeah, this man's ready to go. He's showing us a lot. We're confident in Jordan Love's ability. You don't really want to hear, we just got to wait and see. If this is your franchise quarterback, the guy who you have the utmost confidence in to lead your franchise, you want to hear, he's our guy. He's already cemented himself as the guy moving forward for the next couple of years. It seems like the general manager for Green Bay is taking this kind of day by day, and everybody in the Packers organization is still on the fence about Jordan Love. There hasn't really been anything coming out cementing him as being that dude. And there was a similar situation with Aaron Rodgers way back when he was coming in to his first starting years as the QB for the Green Bay Packers, taking over for Brett Favre. But after his first season, though, there was a lot of promise. His first season may not have been ideal, but it was pretty solid. Can you get that kind of performance out of Jordan Love? How is his first season going to be in comparison to Aaron Rodgers? Listening to a couple former Packers players such as James Jones, they said that it didn't really take too long for everybody to know that Aaron Rodgers was that guy. Even in practice, there were a lot of throws that Aaron Rodgers made that made teammates have a lot of confidence in him. You haven't really heard that said about Jordan Love. Yes, he has made some great throws, but there hasn't been a lot of moments where there has been Packers players coming out and saying, yeah, like, we know Jordan Love is our guy. So everybody just seems to have tempered expectations for Jordan Love. And in terms of his perception in the eyes of the national media, that probably isn't going to change until the regular season rolls around and he ends up balling out. But this Jordan Love situation is really interesting to me because in all my years following the NFL, haven't really seen a situation like this where you have a guy that's a couple of years into his career and you still don't really know what you have in him. You don't even know if he's good, if he's great, if he's bad. And by this point in training camp, you know, with how shaky and how inconsistent his performances have been, it makes you a little bit skeptical about the Packers going into this season. And most people don't expect the Green Bay Packers to be a playoff team, but I think most of us expect this to be a team that's capable of winning between 6, maybe 9, 10 games at best. But judging on these reports coming out about him in training camp so far, I think this probably could be a 5-win team. And this offensive line has kind of had some struggles. The receiving core has had some issues with drop passes. This Packers team, man, the defense looks like it's all world. And that's a positive if you're Joe Barry. If you're a Packers fan, at least you can have way more confidence and optimism in your defense being able to be good this year. But Jordan Love, I mean, I was kind of hoping for a little bit more. When I was reading these reports about Jordan Love, I was hoping that he was having a lot of big throws, a lot of great practices, but he has only had about 2 practices that's been really good and about 3 of them that been so-so, and the rest of them haven't been great. And all of his struggles aren't on him. Like I said, the receiving core has struggled with drops. The offensive line has been shaky, but the jury's still out when it comes to Jordan Love and how good he's going to be this upcoming season.